Hello everybody and welcome to The Devil's Reel. Same channel that you used to before under a new name, new studio, new lighting, most importantly, new stuff to review. Took a little bit of a break from the YouTube channel because I kind of started it hastily at the beginning and didn't really have a focused area or a focused way that I wanted to do things, and I took time to set up a whole studio to really help alleviate the quality of everything that we're doing here. So I hope you like the new digs. I hope you like what we're about to do because we're back here again with another mask review. We're going to be looking at Resident Evil, one of my favorite series of all times. Not the movies. Not the movies. One more time just for effect. Not the movies. We're going to be talking about the video games today. We have Resident Evil 8 on the horizon, coming out on May 8th. That's going to be as the recording of this video, it's like a week away. I'm very excited. I've had it pre-ordered, the Super Deluxe $8 million edition. I have that. It's coming my way. I'm very excited for it. I was a huge fan of Resident Evil 7. This is going to take on that same gameplay style. It's been noted that Resident Evil 8 is kind of a love letter to Resident Evils 4 and 7. And those two both are really great games for me. So I'm very excited. These two products that I'm going to be reviewing have nothing to do with any of those three games that I mentioned, but they do inquire the series. So we're going to be sitting here talking about Nemesis and Tyrant T002. Now, this Nemesis is not the original Nemesis that some of the PlayStation 1 fans or the movie fans may be used to. This is the most recent Nemesis from the Resident Evil 3 remake that came out like a year ago or something like that. It just came out. It's a brand new Nemesis design, and then Tyrant is going to be from the original Resident Evil game from the Spencer Mansion that Wesker releases, that you end up having to fight as Chris and everything. So these are both made by the same effects artist. I will link obviously their Etsy's, Instagrams, Facebooks, and everything. That's all going to be in the description below. This is made by a company called FXCA Studios, or FX Creatures Alive. On Facebook, it's FX Creatures Alive. On Instagram, it's FXCA Studios. These are handcrafted, they're hand sculpted, they're poured, painted, everything down in Mexico. And they were procured just for me. So I'm really excited to get to reviewing these guys and talking about what goes into them. I'm really excited for the game as well. So while we're here, go ahead and if you feel like having a conversation, go ahead and leave in the comments your favorite Resident Evil game or your favorite Resident Evil moments. For now, we're going to go right into talking about these masks.
Hey! Fuckface!
First up, we're talking about Nemesis. Again, this is a totally different redesign from the original Nemesis that appeared on the PlayStation 1 version, which was actually my first Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis for the PS1. That was the first one that I ever played. I was never really able to get into it as a kid. As a kid, I grew up on Final Fantasy and turn-based combat, so the fast-paced, action-y, fixed camera style of Resident Evil didn't really hit me as a kid. I found it too difficult, or maybe I sucked at video games, or whatever you might perceive it as. I didn't really grasp onto it. I loved the Nemesis character, but I just couldn't do the gameplay. But again, I sucked really bad. I really sucked at video games. I should not have owned video games. Now that I'm an adult and I suck just that much less, I mean, we're talking marginally less, I really like these games. I went back and I played the original Resident Evil 3 successfully, and I also procured the Resident Evil 3 remake upon its release, and I was overjoyed about it. It's a completely different redesign from the original one, and this comes with some controversy, I guess, somehow. A lot of people prefer the original Nemesis, myself included. I like the original Nemesis, but there's an equal amount of people that absolutely fucking despise this Nemesis design, and I disagree. I think this Nemesis is cool. I love him. I think he's really cool, actually. As far as this actual replica of that character goes, I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's really well done. I do have a couple of criticisms. We'll start with the pros, get to the cons, kind of do a compliment sandwich. I think this sculpt is fucking great. This has got to be a damn near 1-to-1 scale. This is gigantic. This is literally huge. Like I put it on my face, and the chin of this mask goes down to like my sternum. It's gigantic. This is probably like a 1-to-1 scale. I think Nemesis himself is like 6'8" or something like that. In the remake, he's ginormous. So this is huge. I love the size of it. I love just big sculpts. I think just being able to really bring the character to life is so cool, and they nailed it here. The sculpt is so good. All these marks down here from where the skin is stretched and contorted and everything along the face. It's so well done. All these little holes and marks up in his face, the way that it covers his eye up. This sculpt is out of this world. On the subject of sculpting, the actual tank that he has down here is also latex, and it's sculpted and cast in latex. And I don't really mind that, actually. At first, when I took it out of the box, I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But it grew on me. It actually, I don't mind it so much because it was sculpted really well, and it holds up. You know, it's painted well enough that, I mean, you're not going to look at that and go, hey, that's a metal gas tank. But I mean, you know, it works. It serves the purpose of the character. The actual clothing and garments leave a little bit to be desired. It doesn't quite look like what Nemesis is actually wearing in the video game. Like Nemesis kind of feels like it almost looks like he was wrapped up in electrical tape. He wasn't, but that's what it looks like. And this kind of looks like more of a jackety material. It's just material wise and design wise isn't quite on par with it from an accuracy standpoint. And on the subject of, you know, things like that and like sculpting this tank, one thing is he has these staples up in his forehead, which the original Nemesis had. These staples are sculpted and painted, just, you know, with the same like silver that was down here. I don't mind it very much, but I do just kind of wish that they were metal staples. Just put a little bit of actual metal in there, and I think it would take it to the next level. Paint-wise, looks a little bit rushed. Looks like there wasn't as much, you know, TLC put into the paint. One thing that I'm very happy about is the teeth. Probably my biggest criticism about masks that have teeth is that's the one thing that ends up looking masky about a sculpt is the teeth. Everything else can look great, but if the teeth don't look good, it's going to look like a mask. It's not going to look like the character. It's just going to look like a Halloween mask. These teeth are awesome. It does a really good job. A really good sculpt. The gums are fantastic. The texture on it. The paint could be a little bit better on the teeth, though. The colors just kind of bleed all over the place. It's not really controlled. It just kind of looks like it was put on there, which, you know, it works. The colors are there, the paint is there, but it just kind of looks like it was put on there, and that's kind of my criticism with the paints in general, is they were just kind of put on there. There wasn't as much care put into it, but overall, I really do like the entire thing, though. I think everything on it is really well done. I think this tube is very interesting because it ships separately. The tube when they ship it to you, it ships completely separate, and you have to attach it. And I think that's fun. That's a fun element, I guess. But this is. I don't know. I love this thing. Every time that I look at it, it's obviously it's huge. It's one of the centerpieces of my living room because it's so big. It's so cool. Every time I look at it, I'm so happy that I own it because this is one of the coolest things that I think you can own when it comes to being a Resident Evil fan, is a replica of one of the Tyrants or one of the characters in general, but primarily the monsters. This is it. This is the guy. If you want a solid, affordable replica that you can display, this is going to be what gets you there. It only took a couple weeks to get here from Mexico, literally from Mexico, and that was when Texas had the snowstorms and they were canceled out completely and had no electricity. This had to ship through Texas from Mexico, and it still got to me in like a week. So, great job, fantastic shipping, awesome turnaround time, and really just a solid replica all around. Like I said, a little bit more TLC could go into the paint. But overall, I think this is the best Nemesis replica you're going to get for this price range. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I enjoy this, because we're going to move on to the Tyrant next, and that guy is something else. So we're going to get right to that. Now. here we are with Tyrant. This is specifically the T002 variant of Tyrant. There's, obviously there's a couple. Nemesis is a Tyrant, Mr. X is a Tyrant. There's the original prototype Tyrant. There's a bunch of different ones. Wikipedia it if you want. I'm not going to explain it all. This is the T002. This is the one that's featured in the Spencer Mansion in the original video game. It was the prime bad guy in the first game. And it is terrifying. It is a terrifying character. This is now the second tallest character in the Tyrant series with the introduction of Lady D coming out in Resident Evil 8. She's like 9 feet tall. This guy's like 8 feet tall. Nemesis is almost 7. So this is a big guy, and this one isn't as big as Nemesis is as far as the replica goes. It's probably not to scale like Nemesis is. But it doesn't need to be. Tyrant could be 6 feet tall and still scare the shit out of me, because Tyrant is terrifying. And this replica is an absolute fantastic representation of that terrifying characteristics. Everything on here is an absolute fucking knockout. I have almost no bad things to say about this. I am fortunate to be able to get it though, because FXCA had posted on their Instagram saying, hey, here's Tyrant from our 2014 line. And I'm like, fucking 2014, or 2016, one of the two. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's so long ago. I only started collecting recently. I commented and I was like, damn, I wish I was collecting back when you made this, because, I collect Resident Evil stuff now and that sucks. And he replied and he was like, well, actually, we still do make it. And that's just when it was introduced. I'm like, well, fuck me. So I messaged him and I booked an order for one, like right away, because I needed this. I do have the Ghoulish Productions Tyrant from when they had the Resident Evil license a few years ago, and it's pretty good, but it has that one flaw in it that I talked about with Nemesis that I'll re-bring up here, and that's the teeth. The teeth just doesn't work for me. On top of which, there's just a couple things about that sculpt that I find a little bit weird. That this completely nails. This thing is, in every essence, I think the perfect Tyrant replica. The only thing that I would say is maybe off about the sculpt is that maybe it could be a little more vertical, a little more slim. I think because Tyrant is like 8 feet tall, he has kind of more of a slender nature. He has a little bit skinnier of a face. This one has just a little bit more of like a regular human face, where it's just a little more round, which is not a bad thing in general, but as far as accuracy goes, and the one other potentially bit of inaccuracy is the pointy ear on this side. To my recollection, and from what I've seen in reference photos, Tyrant has just a regular rounded human ear, and this one's just kind of a little bit pointy elf style ear. And again, it really depends on what screenshot you're looking at and whether or not you're looking at fan art or if you're looking at concept designs or whatever it is. This is probably accurate 25% of the time, just not 100% of the time. And it does have that fix. It does have that fix. The teeth in this are fantastic. It doesn't look like mask teeth. The gums are unbelievably well painted. There's so many different paint tones, and it's glossed over to make it look like that fleshy, oh my god, you ripped my skin off look. It's got it. It fucking nails it. These veins and the heart piece right here, the heart piece could be a little bit bigger. I think the original Tyrant is like a big bulking fucking piece, and this is just kind of there. That's fine with me. I think overall, this is what I'm looking for, and this is just kind of like, oh yeah, he definitely has a heart. So that could be a little bit better too, but overall, I'm not gonna complain about it, because everything else, all the little intricacies that come up here, the way that it goes from this solid dark red and slowly fades to going under the skin, so well painted, so well sculpted, so well done. The eyes, the way that they're glossed over in a white, and there's so many tones in here. We'll do close-ups in just a little bit, but there's so many. The eye is a solid white, and then it bleeds to like a brown and a red, and then it has the shadowed out eyelids and everything. It's so well painted. This is truthfully the replica. It's ginormous. From a paint perspective, the only thing that I would probably change or potentially better is this half of the chest piece. In the games and in most reference shots and everything, this is typically a lot darker. Like, we're talking like almost black and brown. and it almost looks like it's burnt, like it has a burnt texture. And this has that texture to it, but it's not painted over that way. It just looks like it could have just used a quick coat of some browns and blacks and darken just this side up and create that contrast there, because that's what is accurate to the character. But again, I think this is a little bit lesser important compared to the head. And again, for the price, can't beat it. Absolutely can't beat it. This is I've actually never seen another Tyrant replica other than the Ghoulish Productions copy. I've seen people repaint the Ghoulish Productions copy, but I've never seen another original sculpt of it. And I could be wrong. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong and give me the link. I'll buy it. But this is, for all intents and purposes, if you want Tyrant, this is the guy. Absolutely buy this. Absolutely buy it. Again, link to everything is in the bio. Go buy it. I can't say enough nice things about it. Having this and Nemesis side by side is the absolute mecca of my living room. It sticks out so heavily. I've got a really cool Resident Evil 2 piece coming in. Two Resident Evil 2 pieces coming in that I'll do in another video later. So this is the part 1 of what is to be several Resident Evil reviews. And hopefully when 8 comes out, we're going to get some really cool characters, and we're going to get some people sculpting on that too, because I would really love that. That in mind, I want to thank you guys for watching and hanging in there with me. Like I said, I took a little bit of time to myself to kind of get my shit together and figure out how I wanted the channel to look and how I wanted my new studio to look and everything. And I don't know, I think it's cool. If you like the design, if you like the way that things are going, let me know. If you're like, this kind of sucks ass, don't say exactly that, because I look tough, but I'm just gonna cry. I'll cry for like 12 hours straight if you tell me I suck. Like literally nonstop. I will cry in my sleep if you don't like me. So I need your approval. So please just tell me that everything that I did is awesome, if you don't mind. I appreciate that. No, if you have any genuine suggestions, feel free to comment or send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. All those links are below. Say, hey, I have this idea for you, or hey, I'd like to contribute, or hey, this maybe didn't go so hot, I'd try this. I'm open to criticism. I want to make this the best that I can. So thanks for hanging in there with me and waiting while I got my shit together on some of this stuff. Hopefully we'll be back pretty soon with another set of reviews. Like I said, I've got those other Resident Evil pieces coming in, and I've got a couple other pieces in general that aren't Resident Evil. I've got probably a dozen pieces since my last video that hopefully we'll get some solid reviews on. So thank you very much for watching. We will see you again with the next video. And again, thank you for carrying in here with me to the Devil's Reel, which also doubles as my photography business. Feel free to, again, Instagrams, Facebook, all that stuff is going to be down below. Feel free to follow. Feel free to share. Do whatever you'd like. And again, in the comments, if you want to spark a conversation, let me know what your favorite Resident Evil game is and or what your favorite Resident Evil moment or character is. I'd love to spark a conversation about that and just get talking about all things Resident Evil as I grasp at straws waiting for the new Resident Evil game to come out, which I hope we're all equally excited for. So thank you very much. I will talk to you guys later. See you next time.